The order in which we're going to go is designed and directed for fluid flow, so it is actually important. And we're always going to start on our left side because in actual fact, most of our lymphs on the lymphatic side, but they also collect over there. So for this one, we're just going to begin the good standing position and we're going to start with a bounce. If you have any bad joints, then by all means, just shake. But otherwise, like as you would on a rebounder, you want to feel, your feet can even go right off the ground. But if that's too much impact, just heels. And the idea is you want to feel that knocking because that's going to be what gets your system, your lymphatic system working, waking it up. We're just going to do our bounces for about a minute and then we'll move on to rubbing and tapping. Now, bringing yourself back, we're starting with the left side and we're rubbing right on the collarbone. So, rubbing just above, just below, and over the collarbone. And you can do circular motions, up and down, to side, and you're putting as much pressure as you are comfortable with. The more you do this, the more your lymphatic system wakes up to it, the more pressure you'll be able to do. And tap. And you're just tapping right into that collarbone. Breathing in, breathing out. You're going to keep this up in every area, 10 to 15 seconds. As we're moving to our right side, you can do this over close or under close, it doesn't matter. Sometimes rubbing on our skin, the friction can be uncomfortable, so over close is sometimes better. Right over the collarbone, just above, in, below. Breathing into that and tapping. Is also important here to help wake up our lymphatic system because it circulates all the oxygen. And now we're going to go up towards our earlobe area. So just right behind the earlobe, and we're pulling down towards the collarbone. This is a great lymphatic drainage. We've got a lot of lymph nodes. And if you want to just separate your hand a bit right onto the base of the skull and bringing that down, because we've got all those lymph nodes that branch out up into our head, right on the base of the skull. Reaching from the earlobe down to the collarbone. And then once we tap, we're going to tap closer to the earlobe, closer to the base of the skull. And now to the right side, pulling down from behind the earlobe. You'll notice where your jugular vein is. Pulling down right behind it. You're going to see that you have a tendon right here. We want to pull down from behind the earlobe to the collarbone, going right over that tendon. It might even be sensitive, tender. And then we're tapping up closer to the skull. And the reason for that is because there's more of a cluster of the lymph nodes. Because this is your cervical lymph nodes that we're working with here. And now we're going to go into our shoulder joint. And for this one, leave your hand open to cover as much space as possible. Once again, circular, up and down, side to side. And you could also, if you get more comfortable with it, you could choose to make a fist and do it with your knuckles to really get in there. That's entirely up to you. And pat. Breathing in with each of these. Good breaths in, using your diaphragm. Good breaths out. And to the right side. Right over the shoulder joint. Really waking up the axillary lymph nodes here. And again, rubbing with as much pressure as you are comfortable with, and then tapping. And remember, if the tapping, knocking, slapping are uncomfortable for you, keep rubbing. It's just important to stimulate these areas. And now back to the left side, and we're going to work on our forearm up over to the bicep, and we're pulling upwards. This motion is important because we pull up towards the heart as we work with the lymphatics of our upper limbs. And I want to stimulate, because the vessels end in our lower forearm, you want to stimulate right in the crease of the elbow, right in the crease of the arm. Breathing into that. And to the right side. Same motion from the forearm up towards the bicep with as much pressure as you're comfortable with. And tap. And now we're going to work with the axillary nodes right under our arm. So the armpit, or right along the tendon and the muscle right here, as much pressure as you are comfortable with. And for this one, you can do a circular motion like you did on the front of the shoulder joint, and tap. Breathing into that. And switching sides to the right, under the arm. This will be the end of the axillary nodes. As we now tap. And now we're going to run ourselves down the center, and we're going to rotate. So upper abdomen, diaphragm, and where our belly button is, the umbilical. And you want the motion that we're rubbing in. If you look down at it, it's clockwise. But if you think of it, you're going left, down, right, over. And again, as much pressure as you are comfortable, as we're working with the thoracic duct, the lumbar nodes, the cisterna. It's a good area we're covering, and tap. Breathe into that. And now down to our pelvic area. Now the pelvic, this is the beginning. We're rubbing up towards the heart center, pressures from the bottom up. So the groin area, that's our inguinal nodes. And tap. Breathe in. And now we're going to go down to the lymphatics of our lower leg, behind the knees. And as we go, try to keep your belly button to the spine, tummy pulled in. As you're rubbing from the calf up towards the hamstring, right over the knee, with as much pressure as you're comfortable with. A good rubbing upwards. And tap. Breathe. Good deep diaphragmatic breaths. As we're now going to come down to the lymph vessels where they end in our ankles. And you can start with the arch of your foot if you like, but the important part is that we're coming over the ankle to the inner ankle, just right above that ankle bone. That's where you want the most pressure to go as you're rubbing up towards, again, the heart center, rubbing upwards. And tap. And now on the inner knees, just up where the knee begins, the knee ends over the knee joint, rubbing up towards the pelvis. Breathing in, using the diaphragm, breathing out, feeling the contraction in the diaphragm, and tap. Now we're going to work our way up. This is the end of the inguinal nodes, our lymph nodes right on our inner thighs. And we're going to rub up, pressure upwards toward the pelvis. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the mouth. And tap. And smile as we bring our way up. Now we're going to be just under the rib cage to above the rib cage, right where our liver and spleen are. Rubbing up, taking care of our last cisterna and lumbar nodes. You feel good. And then tap. And here with this tapping, again, you can knock, slap, or do it with your fingers like a claw. Take a good breath in. We're going to work our way up now to our sternum, right over our thymus area. And we're going to rub here first. And again, while we like circular motions, you can go up and down, side to side, or the circular motion. As always, it's left, down to right, up and over. And now the tapping for this one, you can choose to tap right on your sternum, right on the thymus. You can also choose to beat your chest, beat the sternum. And take some good deep breaths in with this one. You should really feel the difference. And now, we're going to go onto the balls of our feet and drop down. Balls of our feet, drop down. You want to do this at least 10 times. A good way to know if your lymphatic system is overwhelmed, are you waking up with tightness and stiffness in the morning? Are you having difficulty getting your day started? Are you feeling sluggish? These are clear signs your lymphatic system is talking to you and is saying, hi, can you wake me up, please? And this is just a great way to wake it up in the morning. And now, back to the bounce. And now, because you've done all that moving, you've done all that tapping, your lymphatic system is nicely awake. Now, as opposed to just getting up, you might be more inclined to bounce. And remember, you don't have to bounce up, up, up. You can just keep that, knocking those heels on the feet, on the mat. Or bounce from just the knees. Really waking that up. Good deep breath in and out. And relax. You should really feel not just the energy in your body having come alive, your lymphatic system fully activated and draining properly. Your whole body, your whole system is now energized, and you've actually put a lot of oxygen into your body, right into every cell. Remembering that our lymphatic system is what supports our immune system. This is our immune health. So when you really want to build up immunity, a stronger immune system, focus on your lymphatic system and then the circulatory system. This routine does both for you.